Three Sisters was written in 1900 and performed in 1901 at the Moscow Art Theater. The play is sometimes included on a short list of Chekhov's outstanding plays, along with The Seagull and Uncle Vanya. Considered to be within the circle of great writers of short stories in history, Anton Chekov was born January 29, 1860 in Russia. His life was short-lived and intense. As a child, he grew up with a violent father and delinquent elder brothers. Chekov's great-grandfather had been a serf all his life and ruled over his 5 sons with an iron fist. Even as adults, they called him Lord Father. His grandfather, Igor, fought his way out of bondage. Igor was born a serf as well. However, he saved enough money to buy himself, his wife, and his 3 sons out of serfdom. Throughout his life, Anton Chekov met many people from different walks of life, including teachers, doctors, tycoons, merchants, peasants, bohemians, intellectuals, artists, landowners, officials, and actors, priests, convicts, whores, and foreigners. His surroundings shaped him to a person that desired solitude and a need for company. Chekov's work expressed what happens when human existence has no meaning or purpose, and therefore all communication breaks down, in fact altering their audience to pursue the opposite. Logical construction and argument gives way to irrational and illogical speech, and to its ultimate conclusion, silence. Chekov established himself as a distinguished playwright when he introduced one of his famous plays called Three Sisters. During this period of time in history, the U.S. announced the open door policy, which promoted American trade with China. This policy provided equal trading rights to all nations and recognized Chinese territorial integrity so that China would not be carved up by Western powers. In 1900, the Russian Empire covered nearly 23 million square kilometers. Only a quarter of it was in Europe and the rest in Asia. The majority of the 128 million population were Slavs, but there were over 200 different nationalities. Several of these groups wanted regional autonomy, and this was the cause of constant political conflict. There were also 5 million Jews and around 23 million Muslims living in the Russian Empire. The government's policy of Russification, which is forbidding the use of local languages and the suppression of religious customs, created a great deal of resentment. Around 85% of the Russian people lived in the countryside and earned their living from agriculture. Russian peasants had been serfs until the passing of the Emancipation Act in 1861. The nobility owned the best land, and the vast majority of peasants lived in extreme poverty. Our story starts with Olga, the eldest, 28, is a teacher at the high school. She finds her work hateful and herself already aging and tired. Her dream of a happy marriage is fading. She is sustained solely by the hope of selling the house and returning to Moscow. Masha, little more than 20, is married to Kulagin. Irina, at 20, dreams of finding happiness and love in Moscow. A brother, Andrei, a scholar, is in love with Natasha, 28, an overdressed villager who affects shyness and humility. His sisters find it hard to believe that he will marry her. Baron Tuzenbach, 30, a lieutenant in love with Irina. Brooding Captain Seleny. Vershinin, 42, commander of the post. Vershinin has 2 daughters and a second wife who frequently threatens suicide to annoy him. Protopopov, the head of the district council. The sisters hope Protopopov will marry Natasha, but Andrei proposes to her and she accepts him. Three Sisters is a multi-narrative play. All of the siblings view their current living situation of the last 11 years as drab and uninspiring. They think of Moscow as a center of refinement and sensibility. But what's happening in Moscow in 1900 was an overwhelming feeling of civil unrest. The family never moves home, fulfilling Chekov's principal idea that the meaning of all of this is delusion. He conveyed the beauty and sadness of every passing moment, moments of defeat.